Alright guys, another week and we are back for another episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup. We're not far away from this new Championship season getting underway and things are really ramping up in the transfer market. As always, if you do go to enjoy, make sure to drop a like, and anything that we miss off, get it in the comments down below. Loads to go through today, so let's just jump in. So we've had confirmation of Ashley Young joining Ipswich Town. He's set to become one of the oldest players to ever play in the Championship. He turned 40 earlier this month. Now to be fair, he still looks like he's got quite a bit to give. In the Premier League last season, he made 19 starts and 13 appearances off the bench. He's clearly kept himself in very good condition. Watford were also interested in a move, but seemingly couldn't match the wages that Ipswich were offering. We've seen Coventry signing Carl Rushworth on a season-long loan from Brighton. I think this one's a nice pickup. We didn't really get to see much of him while he was out on loan with Hull City last season, but during his loan spell with Swansea prior to that, thought was one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship that season. As the Cov fans rightly pointed out on the last video as well when we were speaking about Rushworth, obviously Dovin's currently recovering from an ACL injury, so that's a primary reason why they've looked to strengthen this position. I think that one's a really good option, especially on loan for the season. We have had confirmation of Lewis O'Brien joining Wrexham in a club record deal, believed to be in the region of £5 million. Now, Wrexham had agreed terms with Forest a few weeks ago, but this deal was held up because of personal terms on O'Brien's end, but all of that has since been ironed out. And I think this is the best signing that Wrexham have made during this transfer window so far. One of the top midfielders in the Championship for me. I thought he was brilliant while out on loan with Swansea in the second half of last season. Real energetic midfielder. Great on the ball, plenty of Championship experience already under his belt as well, and he's in the prime years of his career. I think that one ticks so many boxes for what Wrexham are looking for. And yeah, it was a bit of a slow start to the transfer window for Wrexham, wasn't it? But these last couple of weeks especially, they're really getting an exciting squad together now. We've had confirmation of Norwich signing Papadiello from Metz in France. There was a bit of tug of war going on throughout the summer between Norwich and Watford, who were both interested in the winger, but in the end it is Norwich who have won the race to sign him. The 21-year-old has penned a 4-year contract with the Canaries. I think that's a really exciting addition. We've also seen Norwich adding some experience to their ranks as well. They've completed a deal for Jeffrey Schlupp on a free transfer. I think that's a nice pickup. He was available on a free after his contract with Palace had run out. He spent the second half of last season out on loan with Celtic. I think he gives Norwich a bit of versatility on that left-hand side, can plug a few gaps for them. We've seen Slovakian forward Robert Bozanic signing for Stoke City on a permanent basis. He signed a 3-year deal with the Potters. He's coming over from the Portuguese league, where he doesn't have the most prolific records. He scored 5 goals in 33 league appearances last season, but looks like he could be a bit of a handful for defenders. He stands at 6'2". Stoke have been in need of strengthening that forward department, so his arrival will be a welcomed one. We've seen Birmingham making another excellent addition to their squad, with Erin Cashin joining on a season-long loan from Brighton. Obviously, the defender came up through the Derby Academy. That's where he made a name for himself. Then got the big move to Brighton last January. Since that point, hasn't really featured that much. Didn't play much in the second half of last season, but this will be another step in his development and another top deal for Blues, I think. Adds real depth in that centre-half department, and, you know, don't get it twisted, he'll be a player pushing for a start immediately. I think that's another top deal. But those are some of the done deals which have gone through in the Championship recently. Now, without any further ado, let's jump into the rumours. Now, in last time's video, we spoke about Josh Sargent and his deal to Wolfsburg collapsing. The information that came out at the time was that it was Wolfsburg who had decided to walk away from the deal. However, an update on this story has since come out claiming that it was actually Sargent who rejected the chance to join the Bundesliga side. It's an interesting update because so far it's only been Wolfsburg who have got anywhere close to matching Norwich's valuation of the player. Obviously, there has been interest from clubs in the Premier League as well. Whether Sargent's holding out for one of those moves to the Premier League, I suppose we'll have to see, but for the time being, he's still a Norwich City player. Watford defender Ryan Porteous looks to be on the way to MLS with a deal in place with LAFC, reportedly in the region of around about 900k. Makes sense that Watford are looking to move him on. He wasn't needed, obviously, in the second half of last season that he spent out on loan with Preston North End. I think that's a decent move for him. Are we about to see Middlesbrough finally announcing their first signing of the summer window, because they're closing in on a deal for midfielder Abdoulaye Kante? It's been a really frustrating window for Rob Edwards' side up until this point, where they've just not been able to get targets over the line as of right now, but looks by all accounts that this deal is fairly advanced. It's been reported that Middlesbrough will be paying in the region of about 2.6 million to get the midfielder from the French second division. Obviously a position that they have been in need of strengthening. It was recently announced that Johnny Howson would be moving on. Someone like Kante will be coming in as a much younger alternative in that position. Derby have seen their opening offer being rejected for Bristol City defender Zach Viner, with the opening offer believed to be in the region of £1 million. Now, interestingly, the 28-year-old is heading into the final year of his contract at Ashton Gate, which obviously will impact on his valuation. We'll wait and see if Derby do go in with a second offer. Viner was a crucial player for Bristol City last season, including the 2 playoff games. He started in every single game for the Robins last season. But being in the final year of his contract, we'll wait and see if Bristol City are willing to negotiate on a price for him. It looks like Millwall are set to announce the signing of Massimo Luongo, who has been on trial with the club over these last few weeks. The 32-year-old didn't really feature that much for Ipswich in the Premier League last season, but the season prior to that he played an absolutely instrumental role in their promotion from the Championship to the Premier League. He's still only 32 years old, and you'd imagine on a fairly short-term contract at Millwall, I think that's a nice option for them, a real competitive option for Alex Neil's side of midfield. And Millwall have also agreed to deal with Fulham to loan Stephen Bender for the season. With goalkeeper Lucas Jensen still sidelines with an Achilles injury, it makes sense that Millwall are looking to strengthen in this department. Obviously, Bender, someone Championship fans will be familiar with from his time with Swansea previously. Former Preston North End defender Patrick Bauer does have some potential suitors in the Championship, with the likes of Oxford United, Derby County and Coventry all supposedly interested. I've got to be honest, I'd be surprised if Coventry were to pick up Bauer, but I can see the sense in why a Derby or an Oxford would be interested. To be honest, we as Preston fans didn't really get to see a lot of Bauer during his last 3 or so seasons at the club. I think you can certainly say he's not the quickest of defenders, but in terms of a solid sort of head it, kick it, physical presence at the back, I still think could do a job in the Championship as a sort of backup option maybe. Speaking of Oxford, it also looks like Fulham youngster Luke Harris is set to join them on a season-long loan. He spent last season out on loan with Birmingham in League One, where he got 3 goals and 1 assist. Was sort of in and out of that Blues side. He made 10 starts in the league and 19 appearances off the bench, so more often than not was used as a sort of impact sub in League One last season. Oxford still in need of strengthening their attacking and creative options. You can see why they're in the market for a player like that. And former Luton midfielder Alan Campbell is also on trial with Oxford at the moment, with Gary Rowett assessing the player. Now, Rowett has worked with Campbell previously from his time at Millwall before. He's now a free agent, age 27. He spent the second half of last season playing for Dundee United in Scotland. Southampton have been monitoring the situation with Crystal Palace winger Jezran Raksaki, who they were interested in last summer. Obviously, the winger ended up moving to Sheffield United on a season-long loan. If Southampton are interested in going for the winger again, though, they do face significant competition. Rangers recently went in with a loan offer that has been rejected by Crystal Palace, as it's been reported that from Palace's perspective, their preference would be to sell him on a permanent basis this summer. And who on earth would have seen this one coming? But Steven Nzonzi, 10 years after leaving Stoke City, is now training with the club ahead of potentially being offered a contract for this new Championship season. Now, it's hard to assess what level he's currently at. He's 36 years old and he spent last season playing in Iran. And I can't say I watched much of the Iranian top flight last season. But obviously a brilliant player in years gone by, and if he does still have a bit left in his legs, could be a really good option for Stoke, even as someone just to come in the dressing room and play, 20 or so games next season. Stoke fans, what's your general verdict on this one? Would you be tempted to offer him a contract just to see him in the Stoke shirt one last time? Sevilla forward Isaac Romero is reportedly a target for both Sheffield United and Ipswich Town. Now, he is under contract with Sevilla until 2028, but the Spanish club is reportedly open to a sale this summer. He got 6 goal contributions in La Liga last season, 4 goals, 2 assists. He's 25 years old, and with a bit of interest in him right now from the Championship, he's certainly a name to keep your eye on. It looks like Hull City's move for John Lundstrom is progressing quite positively. Now, while the midfielder is still under contract with Trabzonspor, it has has been reported that a contract termination looks likely, which would then allow him to sign for Hull on a free transfer. Obviously, Hull, working under the restrictions that they are at the moment, aren't able to pay transfer fees for any players. So in usual circumstances, wouldn't be able to do that deal for Lundstrom. But if he does cancel his contract in Turkey, that would then facilitate this sort of move to happen. And speaking of Hull City, Ollie McBurney is still an option for the club as well. It's felt like the transfer saga surrounding McBurney has rumbled on for all summer, really. We've been discussing him for God knows how many weeks now. It's all gone quiet a little bit over these past couple of weeks, but by all accounts, he is still a target for Hull City. Obviously, someone who is available on a free transfer this summer. You'd imagine a few players potentially signing for Hull are maybe waiting for the outcome of the club's appeal to see where the club fully does stand with these EFL sanctions at the moment. But by all accounts, he's still being targeted by the Tigers. And another forward option that Hull City are considering is Matija Freegan, who's currently playing in the Belgian top division. Now, he is still under contract and would cost a substantial amount of money. The reported fee being talked about is around about 7.7 million. But what's the potential workaround that Hull City could do for this deal if they're still under this transfer embargo? Well, it's been reported that a potential 18-month loan deal could be in the works before they then sign him permanently in January 2027. From a Hull City perspective, you'd imagine a few deals would be on standby for the time being until we do learn the outcome of this appeal, which is set to happen, I think, early August. For them, I'm sure they'll be keen to make things move as quickly as possible with this new championship season right around the corner now. Liverpool youngster James McConnell looks set to head out on loan for the season, and there's plenty of championship interest in the youngster, with the likes of West Brom, Derby and Ipswich all supposedly interested. Brentford are still keen on landing a deal for Ipswich Town's Omari Hutchinson. The Bees have already had an offer of around 35 million rejected, with Ipswich holding out for a fee closer to 40 million. Obviously, Brentford will have quite a bit of money to spend this summer with the Mbeumo money coming in from Manchester United. He's seen as a natural replacement in that department, but understandably so, Ipswich aren't keen to sell at below market value. Now, interestingly, Hutchinson did have a release clause in his contract, but that's since expired. So it's now at the Tractor Boys' discretion in terms of what they deem an acceptable price to be. Well, guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, anything that we missed off today, make sure to get it in the comments down below. There's so much going on in the Championship right now that we're inevitably going to miss a little bit each video, but covered all the main points of all the main talking stories that are going on in the Championship right now. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new around here, and I'll see you all in the next one.